Game day. Game day, Celtic take on Kilmarnock. But the big news of today, could Wilfried Nancy be the next Celtic manager? You might think to yourself, who the heck is Wilfried Nancy? Wilfried Nancy is currently at Columbus Crew. He's a Frenchman. He's had some interesting jobs, it has to be said. Before, as a player, he played from 1999 to 2006. He had a short playing career. Must have been due to injury. Not too sure. But the more you look into him as manager, Impact Youth Montreal assistant, Columbus Crew manager, and you may think to yourself, he was also assistant manager of Thierry Henry for 29 games. He's a guy that's got contacts in European football, and he plays an interesting style of football. He plays a 3-4-2-1 formation. And you might think, what? But it's actually an ingenious formation, because what it does do is it has three centre backs. He pushes the full backs forward to sit beside two attacking midfield players, and then he has two wingers further up and a single striker. It's a bit of a mad formation, but it could actually work out to be a fast attacking football formation that Celtic would play. Could he seriously be the next manager? And he could be, because his season in North America has now come to an end. Yep, his season has now come to an end yesterday. Wilfried Nancy, who won the MSL Cup in his first season in charge, another League Cups in the following year, steered Columbus to the final of the CONCACAF Champions Cup last season and the Central North America equivalent to the UEFA's Champions League. He was voted MLS Coach of the Year for 2004. Could he be the man? The serious contender that Celtic could be about to bring to Celtic Park. A Frenchman at Celtic. French have done not too bad for Celtic, haven't they, over the years? And player-wise, we've had some fantastic French players. And if you could bring the Nancy boy patter, won't be worth it. If he was to come to Celtic and he was to wipe the floor with everybody in Scotland, the patter would be well worth it. The Nancy boys whitewash of the Huns. Nancy boys do it again. Oh man, could you believe it? Oops, Nancy's done it again. Hoops, Nancy's done it again. God, it just goes and goes on, doesn't it? Anyway, Robbie Keane's also been speaking about the manager's job speculation. He said, I can't do anything, said Robbie Keane, about the speculation. It means I'm maybe doing my job well. And that's the most important thing. I'm happy here. I don't want to react to every rumour, said Robbie Keane. I've been in football for many years, and whatever club I've played for, there's always talk about where I would go next. So I don't worry about it, said Robbie Keane. I focused on one thing, and that's the team that I'm at. The look of unity and the team and the relationship with the supporters here is all that keeps me going. After full time, the fans keep calling me over. It's impressive. Do we really want Robbie Keane though? His side are doing well in Europe. But if this French guy won the North American version of the Champions League, and I'm not saying for 1 minute, I'm not saying for 1 minute that he's going to come here and get Celtic to win the Champions League. Far from it. Jeez, we need to get better. We need to just become a force. Not even a force. We just become more defensive minded with 3 at the back, 4 in the midfield sitting in front of the 3. It's an interesting system, isn't it? And we'll see what system Martin O'Neill will play today. And because it's now basically his season done and dusted, the odds on Wilfried Nancy, the Frenchman, coming to Celtic have went through the roof. So it is an interesting time, especially with the international break coming up. So we'll wait and see. Hopefully there may be some movement, but could Wilfried Nancy be the next Celtic manager? That's the big question of the afternoons. Always knew Baz was a Nancy boy, says Square Sausage Mick. Ross, who decides to come onto the Square Sausage Mick one on this channel, but when he's on the other channels, he likes to be known as Ross. Right, Ross. Maybe not as manager, but we need a few new players. Well, you never know. Yeah, I don't think Robbie Keane... I wasn't going to go down that road, Snowball, but I don't think that Robbie Keane was a serious contender ever. But the more you look into this guy that's in America, off radar to what's going on to a lot of European teams, his connections in the game, assistant manager to Thierry Henry for 29 games. He's been assistant manager to quite a few managers. 4 different managers he's been assistant to. Maybe it's his time. You never know. You never know. But anyway, and more Celtic news. Celtic have been linked with a goalkeeper. I'm going to share the screen with this one because BBC.com, the gossip fucking page or whatever it is, there's an article. I'll let you see this because it's... If I don't show you it, you'll say that I'm talking shite. But Celtic, a Man City goalkeeper. Celtic being linked with another goalkeeper. What the hell does that say to our younger goalkeeper that we have at the club? And why is this fucking website got a huge fuck off advert? I hate websites that do that. Celtic are planning a £500,000 move for the 33-year-old Manchester City goalkeeper in January. How can Celtic... Who in their right mind would take this Celtic job if you're on about bringing in players? If the club are bringing in players, goalkeepers, left backs, allegedly, and the managers just to accept that. If this is if Celtic need to get away from the City group. I know that the City group brought us Ange Postecoglou, but they also brought us Peter Lawwell's son. Let's just remind ourselves that they also brought us Peter Lawwell's son, who was in charge of bringing in players to the club. He brought in Adam Ida. He brought in Adam Ida for £9 million because he didn't get a loan agreement that had an option to buy for £3 million. That was the City group. Maybe when Peter Lawwell does decide to retire from football, maybe Celtic will cut their ties slightly with the City group. Because if we're going to go down that road, I think that we could be on the verge of losing a fantastic young goalkeeper in Sinisalo. Why the hell would Sinisalo stick around? He was number 1 at his club before he came to Celtic. And the Celtic are going to go down that road and bring in a 33-year-old goalkeeper to play in front of Sinisalo. If I was Sinisalo, I'd be like, fuck this. I'd be on the phone to my agents going, do you know what? I've spent 2 years now here. If they're bringing in a third year, I was meant to learn under a certain player. If they're going to bring in another older player, just fucking get me a move. Get me a move. I'm not coming here. I'm not Scott Bain. Do you know Scott Bain says that he could have moved way before he did his time at Celtic, but he stayed for the betterment of his family because he was on such a good wage at Celtic. He stayed for the wages. Sinisalo's young enough to go and make a career for himself, sitting on the Celtic bench, and it just blows your mind. You know, we're meant to be getting all excited about managers coming in and meant to be getting all excited about certain type of players coming to the club, and then you read that the club are just going to bring in a number of players when we don't have a manager. Yes, the club has to keep on working, and yes, the club has to keep on going forward, but surely there has to be some kind of plan to allow the manager to pick the players. Wilfried Nancy has developed a glowing reputation in the USA after leading his side to the MSL Cup. He's second favourite for the Celtic job now. He has moved up into second favourite. Could the Frenchman join Celtic over the international break? With his contract situation at the current club unknown after he signed an extension length last year. The fact that they lost the game yesterday has also brought about the retirement of the club captain. He said after losing the game yesterday, which saw them lose out in the playoffs, he said, I'm emotional. It's difficult to talk with these players because obviously, yes, we lost, but during the game I had flashes regarding Darlington and what he did, the person that he is. We wanted to go as far as possible. It is tough though. It was tough to tell the team that the season is over. The season is over. It's maybe falling into place, isn't it? For this guy to be, and it goes with what Martin O'Neill's been saying. Do you know, maybe he'll be brought in and Martin O'Neill won't be told straight away, look, you're gone. It'll be a case of, Martin, go and hang around for a couple of weeks to just work with this guy and talk him through what it's like to be Celtic manager and you know, just help break him in gently to Scottish football. You never know. And then to add to it, we got an influx of young French players. I wanna be Edward. Na, 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 na. Oh dear. And then, could you just imagine the Nancy song? It's the form we have found since Nancy's been that has taken us to the top. Oh man. Oh, you can't sing that, surely. Wilfried Nancy. And anyway, I think that he is creeping up. Anyway, the team news will be out in around about 9 minutes. Celtic have put a picture out of the stadium. It's a little bit of cloudy today. A little bit of cloud. A little bit of sunshine poking through the sky at Celtic Park. If I was a betting man, I'd stick 10 quid on Wilfried Nancy being the next manager. The timings seem to be falling into place, especially with Martin O'Neill saying that, you know, he reckons he could get the call on Monday. That could be him. Robbie Keane, wide off the mark. Scottish gossip nonsense. Anyway, the SPFL card today, there's games underway, I believe. Aberdeen Motherwell, Dundee Rangers, Hearts versus Dundee United, and Celtic versus Kilmarnock are all the games that are taking place today. And this is the last game because then it is the international break. An ideal time for Celtic to bring in a new manager, I would say. Fixtures. We're way early, aren't we? The Dundee Rangers game is on Sky Sports. We will stick around for a good 25 minutes into these first games just to see if anyone scores early, i.e. Dundee United, maybe even Motherwell. We look at the league table. Celtic are still second in the table. Get the table up. A couple of minutes to go till the teams are out. Look at the table. You've still got Hearts at the top of the table, 29 points with a game more than Celtic. Celtic win their game in hand, and it takes it down just a itsy bitsy teeny weeny little bit. Celtic are on, played 10 games. It's game day 11 for Celtic. They're on 20 points. Birmingham are on 18 points, having played 2 games more than Celtic. Falkirk have also played 2 games more than Celtic. They're on 16 points. Rangers are down to 5th. Can Dundee pull off the impossible today? Can Dundee pull off the impossible? Dundee, who are second bottom of the table. Doubt it. Motherwell are in 6th position on 14 points. Dundee United are in 7th position on 13 points. Aberdeen, who have played only 10 games, also are on 10 points. Kilmarnock are on 10 points. Also, St Mirren are on 10 points. Also, Dundee are on 9 points. And Livingston are on 8 points. So you can see that it's quite close with regards to sort of 11th place and right up to really about 7th, isn't it? I'm going to sneeze. God, where on earth did that come from? It's always the same, isn't it? So anyway, the teams will be out in roughly around about 6 minutes' time. That is the league as it stands today. Give me an early... Are we going to do predictions? The boys will do the teapot instead of the huddle. I don't think they'll do the teapot. Coodson would be my pick. The thing is with Coodson, right? You're not going to... He's now said, even though that his contract is up in December, he has now said that he wants to stay with Bodo Glimt until their Champions League is over. Even though they're 27th, I think, in the Champions League or something, they're going to struggle to... thank you, Pope Leo. Even though that Celtic... Sorry. Even though that Bodo Glimt are 27th when it comes to the Champions League, he does want to stay with them until the end of their Champions League campaign. I think that rules them out. I think it then puts Wilfried Nancy in the number 1 spot. I mean, we're all being disrespectful about a guy because of his name and everything, but I mean, we're all kind of like, who the fuck's Ange Postecoglou? What? Who the fuck? It could be one of those moments again. And like I say, with that 3 at the back, 4 in the front, pushing your full backs into the sort of midfield beside, well, just in front of the defence, really, with two holding midfield players. Celtic have been trying to play with two holding mid. I'm talking myself into getting this guy. When you look at just the formation, I mean, 3 centre backs, push the full backs forward, 2 holding midfield players. Your full backs are allowed to go up the pitch. You then have 2 wingers and a midfielder, and then a single striker up front. Ideally, you could actually play another striker in behind the main striker, which then doubles up to 2 strikers. It's an interesting formation, and it opens up a lot of gaps within teams as well, and it lets us dominate midfields, and especially when it comes to European football. I think it's a formation that Celtic are really, really, really considering. Nancy's only managed 2 teams. Is that enough for experience? He got the Jed. He got them to the North American version of the Champions League final. Now, we can be disrespectful about the North American football all we want, but to get his team, and when you see the managers that he's managed, that he's been assistant to, he's got plenty of contacts. He plays. Here's the positives for me. He's still in his 40s, 48 or something, right? He plays fast attacking football. He's got plenty of contacts on the European stage. He's got plenty of contacts in North American football. Opens up 2 markets that we've kind of been in and out over the years. He's young enough. He's off radar for a lot of big clubs. Do you know? So, Kudson's been at Bodo Glimt for 7 years. He's been at the same club for 7 years. And now he's starting to, some of the press conferences that he's had, he's been talking pretty much similar to the way that Brendan Rodgers was speaking before he left the club. Neil Lennon didn't manage anyone before Celtic. Was that enough experience to take Neil Lennon on as Celtic manager and go on the European run he did? There's pros and cons to everyone. Do you know there's pros and cons to everyone, mate? That's all I'm saying. I'm just here to make conversation. Celtic won 4-1. Cheeky Kenny hat-trick. I said 2-0. But if he's Helen's go for 2-1 Celtic. What time's kick-off today? It's at 4 o'clock Celtic Park time. Baz, I usually get a Celtic state of mind first. Go going down, go and get them. Your life with me is standby. I should fucking just block you for that. A Nancy and a pussy in the same team. Is McKenna now ruled out? No, I don't think he's ruled out, but I think the wage demand of McKenna. Ange managed a national team and a few leagues. Been a while since we had Bobby Petter. Is that twice you've put that up, Jed? Talk of players coming in without permanent manager is bonkers. Yep, it's crazy. It's absolutely crazy. Crazy chat. We need an experienced manager, says Big Des. Is that not experienced enough? Getting to the North American version of the Champions League. Just saying. Just saying. Doesn't matter who's in charge, you can't polish a turd. This is very, very true. It's very, very true. Team's out at now, should be, if Celtic press the button. And they haven't. Why are Celtic being so late? 7 minutes ago, pictured Martin O'Neill coming into, and Tenecti, all smiles. But no team as yet. Hey, it's out. There we go. It's out now. Oof. Oh my God! What have Celtic done? Holy shit, Pussy plays. Celtic are playing with Pussy today. That doesn't sound right. The missus is going, what the fuck, you filthy animals. This is unbelievable. Shock horror. Massive change to the Celtic team today. And Schmeichel, Simpson, Puzzi, Trusty, Scales, Sriracha, McGregor, Hatate, McCowan, Tenecti, Maeda, and John. Fucking hell, man. Unbelievable. You're all talking about Nancy, and Pussy's playing with Celtic. You can't polish a turd. Who tried? I've never tried polishing a turd. Oh, Jesus. Schmeichel again. No Engels. Bench is made up of Sinisalo, Benji Nigrin, Balashwishka, Yang's on the bench, Shin Yamada's on the bench. Celtic, Shin Yamada's on the bench, Arnie Engels is on the bench, Dane Murray is on the bench, Tony Ralston's on the bench, and Kieran Tierney. Where? I mean, Tierney being dropped for Simpson, for Sriracha. Puzzi is in place of Ralston. Dane Murray has been dropped from the bench. No, he's still there. Nobody would have predicted Engels injured. He's on the bench. I feel like crying. My God. That is Hatate starting. This is crazy, isn't it? Shin had to be on the bench, says Ross. Due to the fact that it was no surprise, the fact that we've no strikers. Where's Bernardo? He doesn't even make the bench. Paulo Bernardo has to be asking to get away from the club. It must be a back three. Do you think so? But that would push Sriracha out of position. And I mean, are we going to change to a 3-5-2? Nah, because you would have to have Dice and Maeda playing through the middle. Tenecti is going to be on the wing. McCowan isn't going to go on the wing. He's not a winger. So it's not a 3-5-2. It's definitely not 3-5. Everyone hates Bernardo. I don't know what that middle three are so small they struggled before. Interesting. Osmond is injured. Yeah, Osmond is injured. It's a 3-4-3. I think it's a 3-4-3. Could be. 4-3-3. Thomas says that Bernardo's been treated badly. I mean, from a player that was international youth captain at Portugal, thinking that he's coming to Celtic to take over from a certain midfielder that left. He thought he was coming here to take over where Matt O'Reilly left off. And for him not to even get a place on the bench, I think that Paulo Bernardo must be sitting thinking, I made the wrong choice here. I like Bernardo as well. I think he's a decent player. He's another player that Celtic are going to ruin the career of, unless he gets out of Celtic. 4-2-3-1. Could be a 4-2-3-1. But I mean, who do you drop off If Engels isn't 100% fit, you drop him off the bench and you put Paulo Bernardo on. Shin Yamada's got to be on the bench because it's the only striker that we've got. Ralston's on the bench for backup, so is Tierney, Yang. That's your back line. Benji in midfield, Balak Wisha on the wing, Yang on the wing, Shin Yamada as a forward. And do you drop off Benji? I would drop off Hatate myself and play Paulo Bernardo. Paulo Bernardo must be kicking himself. Apart from Puzzi, that team looks strong. None of us have seen Puzzi really play. It's going to be an interesting one because he's playing out of position really as well, isn't he? Because he's meant to be more a centre back, and he's been played out to go forward a bit. Tate, well, that's me shouting at the telly all game again. Yeah, I'm definitely going to the pub to watch the game. Tate's playing. I've got to the pub. Bugger it. I might just go to the pub down the road and watch on my phone. I wish. Can I moan about the team? Ralston was pushed on Thursday. I'm surprised that Ralston's starting to well, this just shows you young Colby Donovan not getting in front of Tierney. That team gives me the fear, says Wee Man Sham. Why? I've got to say, in Martin we trust. Hatate is a genius, but he's off the boil. He should be on the bench until he's on fire again. I'm fine starting Puzzi. Definitely a back three, says Michael Gerns. He's playing Tanetti as left of the striker or as a right winger. I have no idea what formation he's going to play them in. No idea, because like I said, Simpson Puzzi was brought in as a centre back, and now we're playing him as, it could be a back three. Could be a back three. If Tati was a genius, we would have sold him ages ago. Yeah, this is true. A strong Celtic 4 now. Kenny McCowan. McCowan's not even starting. Do you think McCowan will come on and score? One of my killermates has put us on his coupon, obviously before the team was posted. Oh, Jesus. I don't think Paulo spat the dummy. Yang, Hatate, no Bernardo. Yeah. Draw to Dundee. I wonder how much we'll get for the Hatate genius. 5 million. Maeda and Kenny up front. If it's a front two, yeah. But then if it's a front two, the way that we play, we always change a striker. I mean, Shin Yamada's untested. I can't see it being a front, a 3-5-2. Maybe Martin O'Neill will change it. McCowan is starting, so yeah, sorry, I apologise. I was looking at Engels being on the bench there. I mean, we're going into the international break. So maybe it's just a case of changing the players. Maybe Martin O'Neill's just changing the players because the other players were feeling it after Thursday. They're a bit leggy. Interesting. What's Bernardo doing wrong that he can't get a game? I've no idea. Surely he threw a strop when he got took off in the final. But that was last season. We signed him in the summer. If he was going to take the strop, why would you come back to Celtic? Do you know, I just think it's I think it's bizarre to think that Paulo's been done the dirty this season. I don't know why, but I mean, it was obviously the previous manager that said, yeah, if there's an option to buy him, buy him. We've all got the fire back. Fact Hatate doesn't dominate the SPFL to prove me he's utter shite. It's a big game for Hatate today, isn't it? Because he's got to go out and to get Celtic fans on side. It's going to be if he's Mr. Pass Back Hatate. He passes back more than Callum McGregor. We all know what Paul Bernardo's doing, waiting for McGregor's position. We've got McGregor for another 2 seasons after this. Came back expecting to get treated better, Baz. He plays in a more attacking further forward than Callum. When he came on in the Scottish Cup final and he basically won the Cup final for us, I know it was Adam Eder that scored the goal, but Paulo Bernardo did all the work for the goal. Do you know, Paulo Bernardo run the show for us in the second half, further forward than Callum McGregor. So Rodgers ruined more players than he helped. I think we need to get over the Rodgers hate now, because unless he comes out and make a statement, he's in the past, isn't he? Must be a Portuguese player. He must be one of the worst Portuguese football player in the world if he can't get a game in that team. Well, we've made him that way because he was the Portuguese under-21 captain. And you can't tell me you're no captain of your national team if you're not a good player. Just be like Celtic. Treat him like shite, he leaves, and then he goes on to be a world beater. We need goal difference, simple as that. Hearts are breastfeeding us. Goal difference, yeah, they are. For me, Kilmarnock is done. People used to say that about Scott Brown. The amount of people that said Scott Brown was done, and then 4 years later, he was still captain in Celtic. Right, he played the ball through for the third goal at Hampden last week, so unfortunately he's no starting. Yep. Yeah, it could be the fact, isn't it? If Shin Yamada comes on, there's been a lot of people shouting, "Where's Shin? Where's Shin Yamada?" Do you know why is he not getting a game? Well, he's going to come on in the second half of the game today for sure, and it'll be an interesting one, because if he doesn't do the job, and if he gets the service that Kyogo got from Maeda, if Johnny Kenny's not doing it in the first half, if he's not scored in the first half, he'll get brought off early on in the second. I'm glad I'm not doing a watch long today, because throat's still done. Hibs disruption of the minute silence yesterday. Did they? Why was there a minute silence yesterday? It was fucking Saturday. Oh, fucking. It's that time of year, isn't it? Ball selection and formation. This is O'Neill and Maloney showing that they are the team to take us forward. Well, I don't think so. I think that Martin O'Neill has said that he's just biding his time. But Sean Maloney could be the number 2. Sean Maloney could be the man who's number 2 to the man whose name is running along the bottom of the screen. We need an overhaul in the squad. No one predicted this team, so let's see. Yeah, nobody was predicting that team. Especially Poosie to start out wide at the back. Oh, there's one for the Pope. Martin's going to find out the problem today. Maeda or Hatate? Who's stirring the beans and causing it? Do you think that both those players... Well, we all know that Rio Hatate didn't really spit the dummy out, but he just was underperforming. We all know that Dyson Maeda spat the dummy out. And then all of a sudden, when Brendan Rodgers left and Martin O'Neill came in, he was cured. It's like the Pope had taken him to Lourdes, and Dyson Maeda was bathed at Lourdes and brought back to Celtic Park to go on again. But anyway, right, give me your score predictions. I'm going to go, this is a crazy one, Baz. It is looking like a 3-5-2, but McCowan's not a winger. Hitati's not a winger. That's the issue that I've got. Giving Niels the chance to win us the treble. Bringing the new guy that could do the left and the rest of the season. I don't know. Rio's been wanting away for a while. His injury through a spanner works. Yeah, did that in the summer, didn't he? Right, scoreline. I am going to go. Mikey Boy's going for 3-0. I'm going to go with Celtic. That's if I type it in there. Will they score? No. I'm going to go for 4-0. Richard's going for 3-0. Helen's going for 2-1. Drew's going for 2-1. Bernardo must be doing nothing in training. Well, you think so. Mikey Boy's going for 3-0. Scotland's going for 3-1. Wee Man Sham's going for 2-0. I missed out. Richard Murphy's going for 3-0. Caden's going for 2-0. 3-1 McCowan to score any time. I think McCowan first goal. McCowan first goal. 4-0 right from the start. Kelly are pissed this year. 2-0. I'll take 2-0. 3-5-1-1 says Thomas. Balak Wisha, waste of 5 million. Yes. For a player that we've chased for so long, I expected more of him. He's been linked with Celtic for so long, we've chased him for so long, and I don't think that he's up to it. Yang to score the third. Don't say that. Yang's crap. If Yang's got to come on, we're fucked. 4-1 to us. If Yang comes on, we'll lose a goal. Nah, I bet he doesn't. Is his bird over? 4-1 to Celtic says Tony. Tony says 3-1. Stephen says 2-zip. 3-1 the boys. 4-0 Kenny, McGregor, Maeda, McCowan score. I'm not predicting till after this game. Can't you go back and do, can you? 4-1 to the good guys. Got to remember, we've got, I think, I don't know. James Forrest, nowhere to be seen. That's the big shock. James Forrest is nowhere to be seen, so he must be carrying a slight bit of injury. Martin O'Neill will be on the telly before the game. Might be on the radio because it's not on the telly, so he'll be on Celtic TV maybe. 3-0, but yeah, no James Forrest there. It shows how weak this team is. 3-0 says Paul. Who really cares? Says 3-1. Magnus says 3-1. And a lot of people are giving them a chance to score. When you look at the... I mean, Kilmarnock in the league have scored 13 goals all season. But they've got 18 goals against. Mind you, Celtic will 8 goals against. You know, that's just under a goal a game that people are scoring against us. So it's not emphatic. The defence does need to be a lot better at Celtic. That is for sure. My throat's going again. Thank God I'm not doing a watch along. 3-1 the Hoops. Magnus is going for 3-1 also. Wilfried Nancy's in, playing 3-5-2. Well, he plays a 3-4, doesn't he? Just the more I look into this guy, and the more that his season's over, and Martin O'Neill's been saying, I'm expecting to get the call on Monday, telling me my time's up, and then I can go and buy a coffee in London again. Maybe Martin O'Neill lets on more than what he's known. Kelly always getting away goal. 4-1 says Stephen James. Kilmarnock are not the problem. We must go and concentrate and win any way we can. Phil 5-0 says Big Des. Willie's Muff Diving Adventures is going for 2-2. This lineup's blew my mind. Well, it's kind of blew all ours, because you're sitting thinking, going, what the hell's going on? Because it's not as if we've got a game next week or midweek. Do you know that's changes? Is that changes for Martin O'Neill to see? Look, we need to see Jamas Simpson-Pouzy playing. I don't know. It's weird. Williman says that Brady says 5. Paul Cassidy's going 3-0 Celtic. Tom Mack says he's going for a Big Mac. I've done 4-0. 17-2 for 4-0. Why is everybody so confident? Because we're at home and it's Martin O'Neill. And I think that when you look at Kilmarnock in the table, Kilmarnock are woeful. They're down in 9th place. They're on -5 goals. When you look at the stats, you can see why Celtic fans are going for... So let's just scroll that up to get Kilmarnock in there. When you look at the table, you're thinking that Celtic are going to take a good 2 or 3 goals off them. Easily. They've lost 3 out of the last 5 games. They've won 2, but they lost the 3 before. 2 wins have shot them up the table. It's got to be said. But when you're looking at that, Celtic will be looking at this game and thinking, yeah, we can win this. We need to win it. We're Celtic Football Club. Of course we're going to be confident. We're at Celtic Park. We've got Martin O'Neill back at Celtic Park. There's going to be no ultras at Celtic Park, so the whole Celtic fan base will be singing Martin O'Neill, Martin O'Neill, Martin O'Neill, and that will get the players' confidence up, and that's what we really need to do. Do you know, we need to forget about, as soon as the players go onto the pitch, we need to forget about the noises of everything else that's going on. We need to back this team 110%. We need to make sure that this team hears the fans, and it's a big, big, big moment for every other fan around the stadium today, because the Green Brigade aren't there to make the noise. Stand up and be counted. That's the battle cry today. It's for every single Celtic fan going to the game today. Stand up and be counted, because this team needs you. Martin O'Neill needs you. Martin O'Neill deserves to have you supporting the team as vocally as you can. If Martin O'Neill's been talking about legacy and non-legacies, and if everyone else is talking about legacy, if Martin O'Neill has this legacy, get up off your arse and sing today. Because that's what legacy respects. Do you know what I mean? It's just my thought. My motivational speech for today. Hands up. Baz, Dave King is going for 6-1. 3-1 to us. 3-6-1. And 3-1 to us. I wonder if Bally and Kuhn, we got a shift out on. Will be like Kuhn. I think he's going to be better than Kuhn. 3-1 for us. Says Paul. 3-0 says Michael. Helen says if we win 5-0 she'll buy me a fish supper. Perfect. Don't know where there's a chippy near me, but there's plenty of places that does fish Fridays. Nice few Irish bars will do fish. Hope it's no 3-2. God, don't say that. Stuart got a time machine. Is it true that Andy Robertson's going to Celtic? No, it's alleged that he's open. He's open to signing a pre-contract agreement with Celtic. Nay Forrest. No lifeline, to be fair. Fancy us to be bang on it from the start. Fozzie's face the other night said a lot. I'm glad somebody's pointed that out, because after the game on Thursday, I mean, Fozzie talking to Martin O'Neill. God, I think that Martin O'Neill's ears must have been ringing all the way to the St Mirren game last night. I mean, maybe Martin turned around and said to him last night, Fozzie, going to no shout at my ear in my ear today. And he's like, right, boss, I'll sit here and be... That's Fozzie trying to be quiet. And Martin O'Neill's sitting there going, oh, fuck, he's going to start... He's going to start shouting any minute. Oh, fucking Jesus. Can't understand the word he says half the time, but oh my God. Please don't do it, Fozzie. Fozzie's like... Don't fucking shout, don't fucking shout, don't fucking shout, don't fucking shout, fucking concentrate, you cunt, don't fucking shout, don't fucking shout. Hey! And there's the dog getting at big licks. Oh man. Does Simpson play in every position? I have no idea. No idea. German on the touchline, minute silence. Club. Where the hell is Forrest? I spoke about that with nobody ideas where he is. He must be carrying a bit of a strain after the game on Thursday. 2-1 Celtic, Kenny and Shin Yamada. Fozzie must have critical injury Ralston after the game. The second goal. Yeah. Liam's going for 3-0 for Kenny to score. 2-1 Celtic. He's playing the media guarantee. Why is Sinisalo not starting again? It's even worse when Sinisalo must be sitting... You'll not look at Celtic headlines, but we're being linked with a 33-year-old Manchester City goalkeeper. Pusey and Trusty and Scales are all left-footed. Jesus. Well, we know where the ball will be going the whole match. It'll be going down the left-hand side then, isn't it? Sinisalo needs game time. We brought him in to take over for Schmeichel. Yes, I know. The board see Nancy is Ange 2.0. Could work. Not the usual names. That's what I'm thinking. And when the more that you look into this guy, the more that it's the end of his season. Yeah, there's just... Sometimes the obvious is staring you in the face, and as Celtic fans were just like, fuck, it's not going to be him. It's going to be Knudsen. But Knudsen wants to be there until the end of December, and then he wants to be there till the end of the Champions League games, which is in the end of January, going into February. That's no use to Celtic. It's where bringing in a manager in the international break is. It is that. We normally go for a European hangover. Oh, I'm going to go for 2-1. I'm going to go for Hashati. Hashati 20 passes backwards and 10 giving the ball away. That's a good bet, by the way. That is a good one. Mappy's going for 3-0 Celtic. Give me your score lines. I'm going to stay on for about another 5 or 10 minutes and then I'm off to the pub to watch the game. I'm not doing a watch along because my throat is completely gone. Thank goodness. See some headlines. Pusey comes in from the cold. There's a headline. O'Neill makes 5 changes from the Michelin defeat as Man City loanee starts. JSP debut in Celtic shake-up. Simpson Pusey handed surprise Celtic debut. It's crazy to think that he's getting a debut on the 9th of November. 9th of November. And we didn't even do a poll. Are you joking? Oh, why did you have to go and like put that scoreline up? Oi, 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 oi. Anyway, right, that's me done and dusted for the day. Go and enjoy yourselves. I will be live after the game this evening. Who can we give the sausage roll chants are out? Nancy boys, CSC. I'd take that for winning. Exactly. So would I. And on that note, have a fantastic day, Celtic fans, wherever you are, all around the world. Come on, you boys in green. Glasgow's green.